Towards the end of Creed, the latest installment of the Rocky series, Adonis Creed runs through the streets of Philadelphia with a group of kids riding dirt bikes trailing him. Whether it's kids popping wheelies on the streets of Philadelphia or people commuting to work, cycling is a huge part of the city's culture. We'll delve into how the city plans to make it more accessible and how riders can be safe coming up. Philadelphia has many advocates at the city level who are pushing for safer streets for cyclists. Meet Randy Labasso, the communications manager at the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. The coalition began in 1972 and has made many advances in the past several years.
We advocate for a better bicycle network, and we educate for safety in the city. We have had a number of successes, and we have successes on the horizon, and then things that we want to get completed within the next several decades, I guess. Some of those things are, protected bike lanes, better trail system, a better, just a safer place for bicyclists as well as people who, pedestrians and drivers to get around the city.
If you find yourself on 13th Street near Cecil B. Moore Avenue, you may find some Temple students riding bicycles around cones. They may look silly, but they're taking Urban Riding Basics, a class offered by Temple's Director of Sustainability, Kathleen Grady. The class helps students get introduced to how to be safe on the city streets.
Our goal is really just to get people to be familiar with the rules of the road and some basic tips that if you're coming from rural areas or suburban areas and you've been a biker your whole life, but biking in the city is very different. So it's kind of welcoming folks to the city biking culture and then just giving them some tips and pointers on how to ride safely.
Grady's class teaches the rules of the road, like how cyclists can legally ride in the middle of a lane if it makes them feel safer. Grady's office doesn't just stop with teaching how to bike, but also reminds all drivers who drive to campus before they get their parking permit on campus to sign a pledge that they understand the rules of the road. Xavier Noguera is the vice president of the Cycling Club. He grew up in the Washington, D.C. area and has been riding bikes in urban settings for a few years, but understands why some people could be apprehensive to ride in Philadelphia.
Largest concern is generally safety. People are worried about cars, and for good reason. It can be unsafe, especially if you don't really know exactly the precautions you should take for urban cycling. In the beginning, you probably won't feel as good as you'll feel months later, and I've been biking on urban streets for 4 years now, and it feels second nature to me.
With more rider education and plans for safety measures in the future, the ridership is surely to increase in the years to come. I'm Evan Easterling reporting for AV News, and have a great 2 p.m. class.
You should ride your bikes. It's fun. It's a good way to get around town.